I'm going to say it so good you'll remember it after listening to this podcast. If you put down that phone, hey, you're driving, put down the phone.
Imposter syndrome. That's it.
Oh, okay.
I struggle with imposter syndrome. I think I don't belong in this room.
All entrepreneurs.
Wait, for real?
We
You
do.
feel that
How
way?
can you relate?
Absolutely. 100%.
What do we do?
Steal
it on a credit
the
card.
ice cream. Oh, okay.
Put it on a credit
Well, you're
card.
stealing it on the credit card. You're stealing it from somebody else.
Come
Hey,
on,
I came up with a
guys.
solution. Hey,
Well,
hey.
entrepreneurs, we just came up with a solution right away.
Boom,
it doesn't
boom,
matter.
boom.
It's like, hey,
We got to brainstorm.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Entrepreneur Experience
right.
podcast.
Yep.
I'm Jared Taylor with JT Visuals, without the I because there's more than meets the eye. And we got Coach Joe.
with Action Coach South Kansas City. And I'm excited to introduce our awesome guest, the wonderful Cory Finley. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have you introduce what you do. There's like 2.5 businesses that you're involved with, right?
Yeah.
So,
25 and a half, yeah.
25 and a half, yeah.
But a quick
I
story,
wish.
too, is like, quick story of Cory is that we were co-working in this office space, and he happened to choose a desk right next to me, which was a wonderful thing, but also not, dude, if I can say. No. Because
let me tell you what, hold on. They talk too much.
We do.
Yeah.
We talk a lot.
Yeah, we vibe so much. That's
Yeah.
the word everyone says, I think.
Yeah.
So, and it's really good, and it's good conversations and all that. And so we're like, hey, the best spot to talk is on a podcast.
Heck yeah.
And so we're like, hey, he's right here. Let's bring him on. Let's see. He has a really good photography business. He showed me a lot of his work too. It's really good. You do a really good job.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's with cars too, and like that's the ones I've seen a lot of, and
Yeah.
those are phenomenal. So
Yeah.
if you really love cars, like go and find his page and everything. But anyways, it's an honor to have you here. So
Thank you. Yeah.
what do you think of give us a little 30-second, 1 minute
Yeah,
version
right.
of
How do I
who is
even
Cory?
explain?
10,000-foot bird's eye view of your
Right.
entire life.
Yeah,
Let's just-
I suck at being an employee, and so
Oh, that's why we're here.
Nice.
So I decided I need to do my own thing, and I don't need to wear these.
Yeah. A little dark.
No, so I like to say 2.5 businesses. For a long time, I was a real estate photographer, architectural photographer.
Okay.
And I had 6 photographers, 2 admins, 4 editors, and that was my main thing was 7 Images KC. And from there, I pivoted into headshot photography. So that's now the half of the business.
Okay.
Because it's very automated. I've got a calendar online. If people want to book headshots, they book headshots.
So he's a hitman.
I am. I shoot people in the face. That's right. Yeah. And so then I started a production studio for other creatives with a co-working aspect. So co-working for creatives
Yeah.
called Kingdom Studios.
Yep.
And that's been almost 3 years now that's been going. And so we've got 45 to 50 members, somewhere right in there. Kind of depends on how you define a member. People that come back regularly. So we've got giant production studio space. We've got audio booths. We've got gear. We've got backdrops. All the stuff, desk spaces for them. So people like Jared, that do this type of production on a regular. We've got spaces that people like you would use.
Nice.
And then last year. Started a totally different vein of things. I started a solar business, and so now I'm in solar sales, doing residential and commercial solar. So
And the connection is your sunglasses.
yes, it's very bright outside.
Yeah. Well, if you don't mind me asking, like, what got you into solar? Because, photography.
Yep.
Then you have a studio for creatives.
Yeah, those go
And you
well.
were doing a
Those
good
go
job, too.
really
Those
well
go
together.
Yeah.
Together.
Yeah.
Solar. Talk about like what the mindset is around that.
So you guys get real on this podcast? Is that what
All right, let's get real.
Yeah.
If you have kids at home or watching this YouTube,
Viewer discretion is
go ahead,
advised.
talk.
So faith for me is a very big cornerstone of who I
Come on,
am
somebody.
and why
Let's
I
go.
do what I do.
Oh yeah.
And so I was watching the Grant Cardone 10X conference last February. So not this last February, the February before, the year and a few months ago.
Okay.
And I just felt like I was going, hey, remember that solar thing that you were looking at, like 4 years ago? Now's the time to really do that. And so I was like, okay, all right, my other two businesses are pretty automated. I'm kind of getting bored. I can see this happening.
Okay.
I could use the extra revenue stream. And so just trying to listen to what I felt and went from there. So, yeah. So how I got into that was looking at other opportunities. As a business person, I'm always looking for another opportunity because what I'm doing right now, I could get so locked into that I just, I guess, get ingrown, if that's the right word.
Right.
Where I'm just blinded and I'm not seeing what's going on and not open to new possibilities because things are always pivoting and changing.
Yeah.
And so I'm in this sales group and, people are always asking, hey, if you had 10 grand, how would you invest it? Hey, if you, quit and you started over, what would you do? Solar, tractor sales, and insurance, roofing were always like the top 4. So I was like, okay, solar sounds cool. I like that. So I'll keep that in my back pocket. So when this happened, God was like, hey, remember that solar thing? I was like, I do. And it looked pretty good. Yeah. So, it's good for the homeowner. It's good for me. So I decided to, all right, let's
crazy.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah. Like, good job, hearing the voice of God too, because that's a really hard thing, and it's even hard to describe too.
Yeah. It is.
But it's
well, I like that you mentioned faith because obviously Jared and I are men of faith. We're Christians, and we totally understand what you're talking about. It's funny. Well, it's not funny what I'm about to say, but I'm really good at if I hear the voice of God and it feels uncomfortable, trying to ignore it. Like the whole Jonah thing. It's like, maybe I'll wait another year. And I always find that he has a way of allowing certain circumstances to happen to push me into what his will is. Because, I feel like, God loves me so much that it's like, hey, I got this path for you, dude. You also have this beautiful wife I gave you and these 5 gorgeous children. So I'm going to have to allow certain things or just, let things play out so you can actually get within my will. I don't know how theologically biblical right that is, but I do feel like I have that relationship with him where it's like, I hear it.
Yeah.
And if it sounds good, I'll do it. If it sounds like, oh, God, that sounds uncomfortable, I'm like, okay, I'll try to ignore. But we're good, right? We're good. And then after a year, it's like, no, get your butt over here.
Because you always check it. If you got nerdy, there's something called the Wesleyan quadrilateral. I can't even say it. Yeah. But basically, it's like 4 points to check something.
Oh, yeah.
Of if it's something from God, too. And it's like, it will never contradict the Bible. So it's like if you, and then experiences and all that. But.
Well, it never contradicts the Bible, but I know what you're saying when it's like the voice of God. It's really, really loud. It's really clear, and it doesn't leave you alone until you do it.
Yeah, and I would say
that last
for
part.
a long time, I was like, all right, is this my voice? Is this God's voice?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of new Christians and even advanced Christians, if that's a term, would still say that because it's like, all right, I want this, but I can see God wanting it. But is it me? Is it him? Here's the deal. It's like,
go ahead, preach it, brother. Let's go.
I feel this. Come on.
You are a pastor, certified, right? Let's go.
No. Satan's voice is a lot different than God's voice, right? Satan's voice is that shaming voice. Why did you do that? Don't you know better? Come on, you know better than that. Why'd you do that? And it's just this like, yeah, you're right. Crap. Like he's the accuser. That was his job. That was his role. He is the accuser in heaven. And so he's not wrong. I could have done better. I could have listened differently. He's not wrong. But that's not God's voice. So I like to, I'm a dad.
There's no condemnation when it comes with God's voice, right?
Yeah. I didn't come to condemn the world, right? John
but there's
3,
conviction.
15.
It just doesn't condemn
or 17.
you.
Yeah. And so we're all parents, right? And so would you be mad if your son was sweeping the kitchen and was like, and he's sweeping, you're like, oh, son, why did you do that? Why did you sweep the kitchen and clean it all up?
No,
no, right? We'd be like, wow, dude.
If it was my kids, I'd be like, finally.
Thank you.
No, I'd be like, what's wrong with you? You cleaned.
Right? And so it's like God's voice, he's not condemning. He's not judging. He loves us. And even when he tries to encourage us to do better, it's not from a shaming standpoint. It's from an encouraging and mentoring and coaching standpoint.
Because God is the ultimate judge, but it's more like a different sense. And like when you are a believer, when God judges us, he sees Christ. Yeah. Because we're wrapped, And that's what the really cool thing is.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like...
Yeah, and so as I'm doing things, and it's like, hey, I want you to do this, even if I hear wrong, and this is kind of the point I was leaning towards in my head, even if I'm going the wrong direction, if my heart is to honor God, He's going to be like, hey, I appreciate you sweeping the floor, but I wanted you to vacuum instead. So why don't you come over here? We'll vacuum. Thank you for sweeping.
Coach you through this.
Yeah.
And we see that in the Bible. Like, Paul's like, I'm going to get on a boat and go this way. And he's like, shipwreck.
Yeah.
And so it's like, my heart is just to go until God turns me to another direction.
Yeah.
As long as I'm
And if you do
really
something
trying
wrong,
to listen.
He might go and flip the tables.
Yes.
You know?
And I want to be humble enough to go, sweet, thank you.
Yeah.
Like,
I find that being an entrepreneur and a Christian it kind of goes hand in hand. At least for me, I can speak that because, like, I feel you. It's there's that saying that entrepreneurship is like jumping off of a cliff while you're trying to fix or create or make your hand glider or airplane or whatever you want to call it. Right?
On the way down.
Yeah.
Like, there's no cart before the horse or horse before the cart. Like, that doesn't make sense in business.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a gift that God gives us to be entrepreneurs because He needs people that are risk takers. But in risk taking, you will make bad decisions.
Yeah.
But if we are heeding the word of God and we want our lives to glorify Him, because ultimately that's kind of what we need to do. We're on this earth to glorify God.
Yeah.
As individuals, it's like the whole talent parable. He told them just to multiply. He didn't tell them how to. He also knew that you can make mistakes, and that's why that one person buried it because he was too afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah.
But like when the two servants doubled their talents, but what they don't say in between that is how many risks did they take? How many times did they actually lose it before they actually went back and tried to multiply it?
Oh, yeah.
So they can, because he said he went on a long journey, and when I come back, I want to see what you did with this money. So I'm paraphrasing everything. I don't even know where to find that. So if you guys know the Bible,
Luke?
it's Matthew 20-something.
It's in two of them. There's two references, actually. I remember that specifically. So it's in one of the Gospels and then the other.
I just know reading it as a kid, it was like a very straightforward story.
Yeah.
Reading it as a very seasoned entrepreneur who has a lot of failures under his belt and a lot of successes, I understood what that meant on an entrepreneur level.
Yeah.
God, if He gave you the gift to multiply talents, and in our case, it's business. Part of this is taking risks and not knowing what's behind that door, but knowing I got to go cross that and I got to go learn.
Yeah.
And that verse that says, man will make those plans, but God will direct the path. Really became something true to me. It's like, okay, entrepreneurship is making a plan, but God, I ultimately know you're going to help direct me. And so as I learn something new, by either making a mistake or grabbing a W and putting it on the wall, it's like, okay, I learned something. Is the vision that I still have, or the vision I have right now, still something I should keep, or should I evolve it based off of what I learned?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
How many times have your plans changed?
Yeah.
Every day.
But like, like those they can change
squirrels,
based
bro.
on how many times does it change based on your experience?
Yeah.
You know, so it's like that's kind of part of it, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
Get
how
a plan,
willing?
let's execute, and then
How
adjust.
willing are you to change?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good
for
one.
sure.
That's
You
a
know.
good characteristic.
Yeah. And what do they say? Is 85% of people do not like change? I love change, so I must be I must be in that 15%.
But that had to be learned, probably.
Maybe
Somewhere.
I like
Somewhere.
adventure. I like newness.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the guy that likes to sit in someone else's, church pew and see what they do when they get there. Like, they're like, I can't listen to Jesus if it's not my spot.
What's that white guy doing over there? I'm like, that's my pew. Well, I mean, look, I think I like change too, but I think through entrepreneurship and life and having a family and kids and all that stuff, like, I took what Jocko Willink said to heart. He's like, growth and comfort cannot coexist.
Yeah.
So you have to learn how to accept the uncomfortable things because you know what it's going to bring you.
Yep.
And even the Bible talks about that. Like, you get refined.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to be like pure gold, pure silver, you have to throw heat on it.
Yep.
Which is exactly the parable of the talents. The guy
It all makes sense.
wanted it to be
Guys, Jesus was an entrepreneur, I think.
well, he utilized marketing tactics
carpenter.
too.
He was a good brander.
Yeah.
He had a target market, a target audience.
I might say he created the biggest brand so far.
I would agree with that. It's kind of been proven throughout eternity.
All that opposition, and it just keeps growing.
He built a gaming engine, but it's not gaming.
The views and shares keep going up.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting is I love the analogy and the parable of of the three guys with the talents, right? You know, talent was like a year's worth of wages. And I looked it up actually a couple weeks ago. Gosh, what was it? It was like $225,000, like current US was one talent of silver.
Holy crap.
Oh, and they had
Like,
bags of
I
it?
mean, that's a pretty good wage right there, right?
Lord, give me 5 talents. All right.
You know, and so the one dude got $250,000 and he buried it in the ground.
Wasn't it bags, though? It
Yeah,
wasn't like
because
5
it was,
talents. It was like 5 bags of talents, right?
No, it was a talent is a
It's a
measurement of weight, and
Probably
so
gold.
and
Oh,
so
I
there's
see.
a bunch of pieces that equal one weight of talent.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, because back then they actually had gold and silver and metal
Yep.
pieces
Yeah.
that actually had
Yeah.
value. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how they
Yeah.
traded.
Yeah, and so as an entrepreneur, I feel like God has called me to the marketplace, and I love to think of old school Aladdin marketplace.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where I'm in this little hut in a bazaar, you know, a marketplace. My job as what God has given me as gifts is to bring my goats to the marketplace and trade for your chickens.
Okay.
I'll give you one goat for 10 chickens. How's that sound?
Deal.
And you're
Actually,
like
9 chicken, 1 goat.
Make
Okay,
it 6.
okay.
We'll make it
9
happen.
chickens plus a couple eggs.
I think that can happen.
There we go.
Shake.
Yeah.
I'm like,
So-
I went to the Greatest Showman song, like, in my head.
Yeah.
Like,
So now I take those chickens and those couple eggs and I do things with it and then I increase that, right?
Yeah.
And so God has put me here as a money laundering front for the kingdom of God. And so like none of
In a
my
positive
photos,
way.
none of my solar panels, none of my studio whatnots are going to heaven. So what is going to heaven? It's the things that happen in between time while I'm trading chickens for goats. And so like that's my heart is to like do things, but do things. Does that make sense? Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
that's good.
Do things,
Print that.
but do things.
Yeah.
Someone put that on a shirt. Like,
Do things, but do things. Yeah.
I
Well,
do
like-
things.
As an entrepreneur, especially somebody who is credible and worthy to have people like say, hey, that's a good guy, he has integrity, or a girl, right? We have so much opportunity to be an influence in the world because not everybody is a Christian and not everybody who says they're a Christian is a Christian. And
Yeah.
if we're here to bring the kingdom of God or, make disciples and do all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
like we actually have a great opportunity through entrepreneurship because of our abilities to
Mhm.
create something and
Yeah.
multiply and network and be in front of people.
Yeah.
Because if you're an entrepreneur, you have to be good at 2 things: money and people,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or else you don't have a really
And
good
taxes.
business.
that's
Let's
money.
not talk about taxes. Hey, look, Jesus
is
loved the
money.
tax
That's money.
collector,
That's
but,
money.
but that is money. It's give to Caesar.
You got a
which-
fish?
Yeah. Yeah. Get a coin out of the fish. But we have that opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
So I love that you steered the conversation here because it's really something that
Mm.
it's valuable and to those who are not Christian but that are spiritual. Because I mean,
Mm-hmm.
dude, I know that some of you guys watching this podcast or on YouTube or whatever, you might not be able to say, hey, I know that Jesus guy that you guys are
Yeah.
talking about, but like put it into their language.
Yep.
What are certain things that they should be practicing that make sense to us on a Christian level, but maybe to them on a spiritual level, so that they can say, okay, those principles that make sense.
Mhm,
Let me go out to my marketplace and be that type of influence.
Yeah. I would say for me, everything that I do goes back to my why, which is Jesus. And so if I didn't have that, I have a ton of friends that aren't Jesus people. And they're like, Cory, why do you do what you do? Why are you so calm? Well, it's because I have this peace. And so like for me, I always go back to that. So if I didn't have that, I would like to say, be a good person, bless those that are around you, make things better. My dad always taught me, like, when you borrow a tool, make sure a vacuum cleaner, or whatever, make sure it looks better or functions better than when you brought it, or
Or you borrow a car.
Yeah, give it back
with a-
nicer.
Yeah.
Give it back
Full tank.
car
Full
wash,
tank.
vacuum, and a full tank.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
my wife always does that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I would say those things are great. For me though, and I don't want to sound kind of defeatist in this, those things are great, but if there's no purpose beyond that, then
like
it
that.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And so I want to encourage you that you need to have a deeper reason than just being a nice person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would
Mm.
encourage you to look at the historicity, the archaeological proof of who Jesus was, because it is undeniably crazy. Like it's
Yeah.
nuts. Like it seems like, and I know this because I kind of have those tags saved on my news feed, but it seems like every month there's a new thing that they find that proves something in the Bible.
Yeah.
So for
Yeah.
me,
Well, if
I'm a
anything, the
skeptic.
Bible is like a historical document.
It is the most accurate historical document,
Yeah.
which is crazy because it's been retranslated so many times. There's no way it would stay that accurate, and it has. So for me, like I go hardcore nerd on archaeological and history type stuff. But I would say, aside from all that, like have that why, have that core of why do you do what you do? Like what's your purpose? It's not just to make money. That's so superficial.
Yeah.
Like why do you do eyelashes? You know, or why do you do tattoos? Like have a deep reason for that.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah. You know, in coaching, the very first mastery that I teach is destination mastery, like understanding your why, understanding your vision, your mission, the core values that make you what you are, all that kind of stuff. And I always say those things will always be generic or it'd be so broad in definition if you don't have that purpose, that why.
Yeah.
But not just a very generic, because I don't want to be poor, right? Like, no, it needs to be very unselfish. Like, what do you feel like your purpose is in life? What inspires you?
Yeah.
So there's a reason why those things inspire you, or you choke up when you see something. Like, those are all clues as to that deeper meaning of life that you might think money is what it is, but money will actually help you get there.
Dude, I mean, specifically, like for me in the video field and I'm editing stuff, I was editing a sermon video where we take clips from movies and actually talk about those principles in the movie and relate it back to biblical things. Well, there were like parts of the movie and the message and stuff that like, even while editing, like a lot of people think it's so annoying because you go over things over and over and over and over and it desensitizes you. But on this one specifically, it was like every time I would go back to edit that part or like make a tweak, it was like, catching me again, and then I was like brought back into it, and I was like, man, I'm real excited and glad that we're putting this out, because if I'm feeling this over and over and over on the editing side, then I know that it's going to move some people, because moved people move people.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good quote. Yeah,
that's a line. I love it.
People, I like that.
Where'd you hear that from?
I don't know. Maybe my pastor.
Oh, that's good.
I just picked it up, and
that's a good one. I'm gonna steal it.
I feel like I've heard it before, but I don't know at all who.
Like you got a story to say.
Yeah.
Like and you can share your story. Yeah. You don't have to become someone else. Share your story.
Story is so crazy. It's so powerful. You can give a fact, and then you can give a story about that fact, and 9.5 times out of 10. Every fact is made up. People are going to follow that story.
Or at least diluted.
People want that story, right? Because it brings back to that why.
Yeah.
Well, it also brings up an emotion. Yeah. It gets a response.
It connects me to you.
Exactly.
It connects me to me.
Do you ever do public speaking?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're ever mentored by a professional speaker, they'll always say, try to throw in stories, relatable stories. So if I could say, hey, the statistic in the United States says that 70% of businesses will fail in their first 5 years of business. You know what I mean? That's great. Then you could say, and my grandma was one of them. And I understood, you know what I'm saying? Like, or, you know, if you read the book, The E-Myth, it talks about a girl named Sarah who was a baker. And she wanted to make these pies because she had such a deep connection when she did it with her grandma. Yeah. That and it's like, oh, okay. Now it's like, failure is one thing. I hear about it, but holy crap.
Yeah.
That story, there's elements in there that I'm going through.
I can relate to
people
that.
don't want to just be a consumer.
No.
It's like when you're selling to people, there's a problem to solve. And if they have choices and then they go, oh, this person, when I buy their pie, I just want a pie. But if I buy their pie, it creates a bigger meaning than... Like and it helps, then I'm going to choose them.
So not to put you on the spot, but to put you on the spot.
Okay.
So you're a videographer.
Yeah.
You know, you create content, you edit, like you do the whole thing for other businesses. So, and you coach. And so as you're coaching, you're teaching these people how to put themselves in front of their clients. So how do you create a client's story? How do you walk them through that? What are like maybe like the 3 pillars that you're always like, we need this, this, and this. And so what do you draw out of them?
That's the easiest question.
And
I'm so passionate about it.
All right, well, I'm going to
guys,
sit back
thought
then.
about it.
Yeah,
Hey,
here we go.
everybody listening,
Right
this can actually help you tell better stories too.
Yeah.
When you're talking with your kids. For real. If you're a parent, go in bedtime, You'll even remember this. I'm going to say it so good you'll remember it after listening to this podcast. If you put down that phone, hey, you're driving, put down the phone. Okay, whatever. Okay, so the 3 pillars is like there's a character with a desire. So there needs to be a want, to assess a setup, like what are they after? What's something they want in life? What's their desire? And sometimes you can even just straight up say that. So I'm Jared Taylor and I really want some ice cream. Okay, the second pillar.
Come on, dude. I want carnivore right now and I'm thinking my ice cream.
Okay,
Hey,
all right.
carnivore's milk.
Yeah, okay.
The other problem is, I was trying to put this into affogato because I really love that, but no, we're leaving coffee out of it.
Just let's talk regular language.
There was a guy on a French street. He was hot outside. He just really wanted some ice cream, but also some espresso.
And where like naturally you're a storyteller, I imagine.
I mean, the Statue of Liberty is right here, or something. Yeah.
So there's gotta.
If we keep doing this, he's gonna forget. So let's not.
No, I actually won't forget this one. This one is embedded
Number
in
one,
core.
story.
A character with a desire.
Character with a desire.
Encounters a problem is the second part.
Problem.
You need a problem. Like, even for all stories. And I wonder if this is why God designed, like, why did God make all of us if he knew that we were going to sin?
Whew.
And I
Tune
wonder
into
if it's
part
because
2 of the
this
podcast.
this is part of storytelling, and there's a story, and there needs to be a problem for there to be a solution. So a character with a desire encounters a problem, makes a decision.
Okay.
This is the final step that we got to know. What was the decision they made? What were the stakes? That's like part of the problem too. And like, there's a lot more you can get into after this, but ultimately, did they choose? So with the ice cream thing, so I'm Jared Taylor. I want ice cream. The problem is the ice cream shop's so far away.
Or you're
and
broke.
I have.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that one.
Yeah. I have no
That's
idea.
my
The problem
story.
is I'm broke.
I'm an entrepreneur. I'm broke.
I related to that one. I'm broke.
Well, this is something that would be fun to. I've workshopped it with people before, and you just make up the story on the spot. You just fit it into the formula. It's real easy. So we want ice cream. It's broke. We're broke. So what's the decision? Like, what do we do?
Steal
it on a credit
the
card.
ice cream. Oh, okay.
Put it on a credit
Well, you're
card.
stealing on the credit card. You're
Steal
stealing
the
from
ice
somebody
cream.
else.
Come
Hey,
on,
I came up with a
guys.
solution. Hey,
Entrepreneurs, we just came up with a solution right away.
Boom,
it doesn't
boom,
matter.
boom.
It's like, hey,
we gotta brainstorm this.
Yeah, there's bonus things like live in that part. Like what are the questions the audience would be asking after that? Like, what did that solve after that? Did they get caught when they stole it? Like, just start answering those questions.
well, now you have more problems
Yeah.
to deal with. Yeah.
Yeah, it might present
Well,
more, but
That's like
guys,
sales.
we're entrepreneurs. Why didn't they just go and make a sale to go and purchase the ice cream? That's
Well-
more wholesome, right?
Yeah.
You guys went to
Yeah.
credit
Well,
card.
you
And
didn't- no, hold on,
Or I
hold on.
decided to sell
Hold
my
on.
shoe collection to raise money to
I bought
pay for
3
the
on
ice
a
cream.
credit card, and I sold 2 at an inflated price to cover
there
the
you
whole
go.
entire thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I
There
used
you go, leverage
I
debt.
used leveraged debt.
0% financing for X.
because you
amount
did
of
it
months.
within a
Yeah,
month.
Oh look, I mean, I got that they put on my Venmo. I used the Venmo to put it right back to the credit card. I paid 0 interest,
And your
Great.
wife never
Look
knew
at
the
that.
balance
Crazy
coming
ice
out of
and
it.
I had my ice cream.
And his espresso.
Sure,
Nice.
I'm doing an espresso because they tipped me after that.
That's actually man, our ice
but
cream
like-
story that can translate to
I
so
know.
much.
I know. Well, look, I see this because like I love sales, right? Like everything is sales. And that's kind of like the same thing. Like you have them, you're reconstructing what they're going through, and you state the pain point because you're listening. Like you allow them to say, I know exactly what your pain point is because when I listened to you for 2 hours, this is what it was, right?
Yeah.
And I can relate to it.
I can relate to it.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to come across as if I have the solution for you if you purchase my product or my services. Or
I've been there. I've done that. I know how to fix that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when it comes to coaching, it's like, look, you're an entrepreneur, right? I totally understand the struggles of an entrepreneur. Like you know how to make money, but the challenge is how to keep that money or how to
refine it and
Exactly.
fine-tune it and optimize it. Yeah.
And so if you want to scale to the next level, we have to really understand how to bring your budgets to a place where now we understand your profit margins. If I can help you do that, would you be opposed to working with me for 12 months?
Yeah.
Then you shut up and wait.
Yep. That's the hardest part.
It is. Yep.
Yeah.
It is.
But it's easy when you know it's easy.
Yeah. So
Stop talking.
you're probably an entrepreneur trying to find solutions for many things in your business. You might be frustrated in a sense that you're not hitting your goals revenue-wise and profit-wise. Maybe you have a great business, but you're not able to connect with your team and get them to buy into the vision or get them, motivated to go and do more. Maybe you're hitting a glass ceiling with your goals, so you know exactly how to reach goals, but now you've hit a glass ceiling and it's like, okay, I don't know what to do next. Well, you've reached the right place. My name is Coach Joe. I'm a coach with Action Coach, and my goal is to help business owners learn how to build a commercial, profitable enterprise that could work without you. My belief is this: if you lay a great foundation for your business in 4 areas, your vision, your money, time, and your delivery, everything you build from there would be much easier. You can market better. You can create systems better. You can build a team better, and eventually hire people to replace you so that you can enjoy the fruits of your labor in your business and have something that works for you and it's paying you and it became an asset. From there, you can sell your business, you can franchise, you can do whatever you want. You can start another business. So I'm doing a complimentary 15-minute Coach on Deck call, and you'll get access to my calendar, and we'll have a conversation very soon.
My prospective clients got to meet me before they ever booked a consultation with me, and that was through the power of video. Videos created by JT Visuals. If you're in the Kansas City metro area and you're looking to get your message out so that the phones will ring, I highly recommend JT Visuals. There really is more than meets the eye.
So Cory, I've been really wanting to ask you this question because you have 2.5 businesses. I love how you said 2.5. How long have you been in business for again? Like just all around have been an entrepreneur? Because when you're unemployable, you kind of know that early on in life, right?
Yeah. I would say 15 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would you say that in 15 years, you've learned a lot? You've
I've learned
had
a
to
lot.
evolve and change your mindset and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff when it comes to certain things?
Yeah, I've messed up so many times.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a very, very challenging question to ask you.
Okay, hit me.
All
Hit
right.
me.
What is success to you?
That is a good question. I will never be successful.
Okay.
Ever.
Help
Why
us
is that?
help us understand what that means.
Do you see how I drew them in?
Oh shoot, he got me.
Yeah, he
Dang
got
it.
To
No,
me,
I just fogged by the caffeine.
to me, success is a completion, a conclusion, and I will never be done learning. I will never arrive. If I do arrive, then I've given up because I'm always going to be learning. I'm always going to be trying to improve myself. I'm always going to try to better myself, surround myself with better people that can teach me something. I have this humble kind of mindset. Even though I'm a little bit competitive, I'm not like your typical alpha male, like I'm the best bee's knees kind of guy. Right? I actually struggle with, what's the term where you're, imposter syndrome. That's it.
Oh, okay.
I struggle with imposter syndrome. I think I don't belong in this room.
All entrepreneurs.
Wait, for real?
We
You
do.
feel that
How
way?
can you relate?
Absolutely. 100%.
I am so honored that you still said yes and stepped in because
Yeah.
yeah.
No, seriously, like even as a business coach, there are imposter syndrome mindsets that I have to like
Oh, yeah.
really work around because I have clients that are like $100,000 a year, $48 million a year. I've never done 48 million. You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But if you fake it until you make it, and then you look back,
Yeah.
and because you already made it, were you faking it?
Yeah.
I know that
probably.
sounds confusing, but it's like, and it sounds like a joke.
Jared has all those awesome philosophical questions.
It's true.
But it actually is. I'm thinking
No.
about that. Like,
Okay, I have a little story real
Carry the
quick.
cue. Hold on.
Yeah,
hold
carry
on.
the cue.
There we
Wait,
go. Got it.
No, the new weird math.
Right? Oh, my gosh.
Well, like I went to a Hot Ones contest, not the actual Hot Ones
Oh, nice.
wings on YouTube.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
for
But-
clarifying. Thank you for
Yeah, yeah.
But
clarifying.
in a group for NFL fantasy, and you get the first draft if you win.
There you go.
So I went and I was like, I'm going in like I'm really confident before I even showed up at the door. I was like, I prepped myself.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to win this, but I'm going to really like fake it. I'm
Yeah.
going to fake it. Well, I actually won,
Nice.
and it was spicy,
Mm.
but
You had that mindset.
I won.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then was I actually faking it? Because I actually did it.
These are good philosophical questions, guys. Put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways,
let's hear from you guys because I don't know. That's a good one.
yeah. Was he faking it?
So success to me is continuing to continue.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So
Oh, yeah.
not giving up, continuing to go. Like if I drive from here to home, when I get home, I have succeeded.
Okay.
And so on my entrepreneurial or my life thing, when I die and Jesus says, good job, well done, that's when I have succeeded.
Okay.
Until then, I've
Nice.
not succeeded. I'm still succeeding. I'm
'Cause
still working.
yes.
Yeah, I'm not done. Succession is like when you take over a throne, right? I've taken it over, I'm done. Like I have not like actually made it yet. And
I like
so
that.
even if I were to have, if someone were to say, all right, success is when I'm financially free and my family and I, we can buy whatever we want. Okay, let's say that's $10 million in the bank, right? Whatever. Okay, well, is there more to learn at $11 million?
Heck yeah.
You know, what about $500 million? What about $1 billion? Like the difference between $10 million and $100 million and $100 million and $1 billion, that's a huge
learning
jump.
curve. Yep.
Like that's a completely different look of a business, you know, the revenue between what they bring in. So why would I say this is done? This is successful. I have succeeded in my goals.
right.
My goals are always to continue to be humble and to learn and try to improve everything around me. I want to return the car better than I borrowed it.
Yep.
And so I'll never get to that point until I'm dead.
Yeah.
And so, but that's not like a depressing thing. That's I just want to keep growing and learning. So every day I am succeeding to the success. So that's what success for me looks like, is continuing to get to that exit, you know, off the highway. You know, like I'm continuing to drive
Yeah, that's
to
cool.
my spot.
I like that.
I read in the book Atomic Habits. Have you ever read that book?
I've done the abbreviated version of it. I've not read the whole
I
thing.
read the cover.
It's
of
a
that
good
one.
dude, and the forward.
And
great.
I've listened to the Audible like a few times, but it says if you stop growing, your soul dies. Right? Like,
That's it.
but it also says too, like once you hit a peak, enjoy it for a second.
Yeah.
But understand that now you're no longer successful if you stay there too long.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I see success based off of how you said it as chapters.
Yep.
Right? Like, okay,
Yep.
you don't know what's beyond this goal that you have. And if you feel like you hit that goal, you've succeeded there. But then after that, you're like, oh, there's a whole new world.
Yep.
Right? Like you hit one peak,
Aladdin
now you can
again.
see
Yeah. Oh no. Okay.
you can see so much on the peak and
Yeah.
say, oh, there's so much more to this. So let me get to the next peak. And
Yep.
there's so much more to this. And I think as humans, back to the whole biblical thing of we were actually created in God's image. We're actually creators. We're actually people that we're the only species that can actually do what we do.
Yeah.
We have conscience. We have morals. We have certain things that we abide by that animals don't.
We were given two mandates that I read.
Be fruitful.
Like
multiply.
subdue the earth,
Oh, okay.
subdue the earth, and then tell everybody about me.
Yeah. I was gonna say be fruitful and multiply. I'm like, my wife and I did that.
That's a good one. Yeah, yeah. I've
to the point
succeeded.
where I had to stop.
Yeah, have you succeeded at that?
I have succeeded a few times.
A few times.
So you got
I did just a
three
little more
kids?
than a few.
We made 3. We bought 1. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a funny way to say it, but I
Yeah,
like
my
it.
wife hates it. I think it's funny.
One time I introduced my wife. I was
So
like,
as
"This is
an
my."
entrepreneur, you bought for what? You multiplying?
we adopted a kid.
He's still buying.
Yeah, the government is expensive. Let's just put it that way.
dude.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
You know what's so funny? Just, I know we're getting real, and this is gonna just really hit somebody's nerves here, and I don't care. You can put it in the chat, and I'll respond to it. But it is so much more expensive to adopt a child that's not wanted than to just go out there and abort a child.
It's easier.
Oh.
It's
Think
easier
about
to
that.
buy a gun than it is a person
Mhm.
that needs to be cared for and loved. It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's like being
crazy.
cared for and loved. There's so protected about people that do that.
Yeah.
But our society is all about love and all this kind of stuff, right? But then it's like we throw away a human being.
Yeah.
Because we don't see it.
Yeah.
And so therefore we can just pretend like it never existed.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's my 2 cents of politics.
Yep.
Well, you put it in a compass of it's just real. Like you
real.
weren't
Well,
going
look,
at
I
it
mean,
like,
my mom-
hey, I'm a
my mom-
conservative to
Yeah.
do this, and
Yeah.
you liberals like you didn't
I
do
actually
that.
have some conservative values. I have some liberal values. I
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yep.
Jesus wasn't a conservative or liberal. He just said,
Yeah, which party would Jesus?
I'm
be
here to
in?
do my father's business, right? Like
Mhm.
his father wasn't a liberal or a Democrat or a
Yeah.
They
Republican.
literally asked him questions similar to that,
Yeah.
um,
They did.
and
did
he
indeed.
says, "No, I'm
I'm not-
building God's kingdom."
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep,
Forget this party system thing. Yeah.
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 for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Cory,
So,
Yes, sir.
photography.
Mm.
What got you into that?
I was given a camera by my grandpa. Shout out, John. And
John Finley?
no, John Hand.
John
Yeah.
Hand.
Yep. John Byron Hand. Yeah.
The name sounds familiar.
That was my
Did you sign a document?
That's my grandpa. No, but I do have relatives that did.
Huh.
We get in that in part 2 in like 5 months from now. Whenever, if you guys invite me back, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I will think about that.
So he gave me a camera. I lived out in the middle of nowhere, only child, and I started taking pictures of trees, leaves, dogs, you know, poles.
Was this like a throwaway camera?
No, it was a film camera. Yeah,
Okay.
I had to pay for all my film and editing,
crazy.
and so I learned to take good quality photos. And then they were like, "Hey, can you do a wedding?" I was like, "Sure." Film camera wedding. Ugh, that was rough.
Yeah.
And then one thing progressed to another. I got some real jobs, and then I was like, you know what? I know what these real jobs pay. I can make more money if I do this on my own. So I started to get into wedding photography. Wedding photography turned into like seniors and portraits, and then houses. And I started doing real estate and architectural. And I was like, all right, I'm going to make my own money here. There was another business that was before that, you know, for a couple of years. But no, I just kind of started with here's a camera, have some fun. And I was like, I like this and I'm good at
Nice.
it.
Yeah,
so
Yeah, you are. I've seen his stuff. And
thanks, man.
he is
I don't
JT
know,
Visuals verified.
What are some of the real estate agents you've taken pictures for here in Kansas City?
278 of them.
Have you done any pictures for Suzanne Wessel?
I believe so. Yeah.
And Cassidy
Wheeler. Now Wheeler, yeah.
Yes, I had them
no,
sold
not
two
her.
of my houses, so you might have.
But you knew her.
She wasn't an agent when I was doing it, so she was like right after. I mean, we took Mahomes' house, we took his photos. You know, Frank Lloyd Wright. I have like over 180,000 actually published photos for real estate photography only, and that's just the ones that were published, not all the crappy ones that never made it. So, I mean,
You still do that stuff?
I do not. No, it was not worth it. You do so much work for like $50 profit. It's just it's ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, you have to like really either be an architectural photographer where you're charging $200 per photo, $400 per photo, or you just have to do 900 houses a day. That's an exaggeration. You guys who know.
Yeah.
You know, where you have like 10 photographers on your team and it's now a management operation. So, you know, that's just not what I wanted to do. It's just a lot of work for a little bit, and so I decided to get into just different things. So
Nice. And okay, so at what point did you know you were an entrepreneur?
When I was 7,
You definitely are.
when I was 7, I started a leaf raking business with my best friend Sophia Gallegos in Colorado, Thornton, Colorado. And we were charging $20 per house to rake their leaves, and if there was poop in the backyard, you know, from dogs, it was an extra $10.
There we go.
Yep. We made business cards, put them at the Pizza Hut across the street, and I think we got one job from that. So one good referral. And I was like, I like this. And so that's kind of my first it's on LinkedIn. That's my first official business.
Oh, nice.
That is
Didn't
sweet.
So I only know this from like being right next to him, and we probably talk too much. And it's but you mentioned something earlier too about like you had the tendencies of an entrepreneur when you were little, even before that. Because that was more of an official thing, right?
That was official, yeah. The one right before that was I have like all these like kind of big gravel chunks in my front like bed. You know, like you think of like the yard of somebody who lives in Arizona. It's not grass, it's like rock,
it's
right?
rocks, like
it's
the
not
those
gravel, but
white
it's like
rocks
big
or
rock,
those-
but it's like chunky. They were all painted purple. I took like a handful of those and I sold them to all my neighbors. They bought purple rocks for 25 cents. So like, yeah, I'm always like, I don't know why.
I did that. I had a little
You
red
did?
wagon.
Yes. Yeah.
And now that I think about it, they bought it because they're like, oh, cute kid. I don't need the rock, but let me help him out.
Here's
Come
this
through a
5-year-old
quarter or something like that, like a quarter. And they're like, do it for 10 cents. Okay, cool, that's fine. Like I just wanted something from it.
That's awesome.
Yep. I'm always looking for some way, and I'm not like it's not like I'm trying to rip people off. Like I want to try to find a value that helps you, helps me, and can we work together? Like it's just so fun for me. And even when I play video games, I'm playing Minecraft, you know, or something like that. It's like what I do in real life, but I'm building, I'm grabbing resources, I'm making something, I'm doing a thing, I'm trading with the villagers. Like everything that I do is entrepreneurial. I just want to go to the marketplace with my goats. That's all I want to do.
All right.
And if you want to purchase his Minecraft world, he's selling it for $1,000.
I wish.
Yeah.
That's
my son though.
People
who
make
is-
money just designing Minecraft worlds.
My son is
crazy.
8, and I'm so proud of him because Wow, why did I just want to do a Trump impression? I'm so proud of him. Hey, everybody knows my son.
Bigly.
He
I
is.
just got to spray paint you orange and
Thanks.
just keep the eyes white.
Yeah. I don't have enough hair for that
Yeah.
anymore.
We'll put a toupee on there.
So my son is drawing all these Enderman creatures, like different Endermans for different biomes. There's one for the sea, there's one for the desert, there's one for this, there's one for that. And he's wanting to make a letter, like he's writing it right now. He's going to send it to Mojang, Microsoft, and say, hey, here's this idea. And I'm like, dude, go for it. And I'm looking at it going, these are kind of awful.
He's not watching, is he?
He's not. But,
Okay, cool.
but
Just make sure
they're awesome. But it's also, like the spelling is off a little bit, like just all these cute things for like a young man, and stuff. And I'm like, yes, do it. Send it and do it. And like, let's see what happens. Like, this is so cool. And so like, there's so many people that are probably watching this that have given up on a dream. And I think that's what entrepreneurism is. It's like, why are you an entrepreneur? It's like, I just go after my dreams and I don't really care what people think.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also too, it's like everybody has a dream, whether you're entrepreneurial or not.
Yeah.
It's just, I feel like entrepreneurs were willing to do what it takes to get that.
I don't care how much you make fun of me. I was a homeschooler. Yeah, I've been made fun of. Like,
Me too.
Like nothing.
Wow.
I was everything.
Nice.
Homeschool, private school, public school.
I was public school because that was the only time I can have breakfast and lunch. So,
Wow.
but episode 1, we talked about our stories.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. So if you're interested in that and you haven't listened, go back to episode 1, guys. This is all really good stuff, and there's a lot of good tidbits. Joe went through a lot of things that he teaches, and people pay to learn this kind of stuff, and somehow he talks about it on this podcast that you can listen to. So I'm telling you,
brother.
They pay him money to share a story.
Yeah, true. Well, as a business coach, it's funny because I get paid to ask very obvious questions.
Right? Yeah.
So how did you feel about that? What can you do differently next time now that you know what you know, right?
Can we take this caller and on the podcast say, hey, you're welcome.
Oh, it's my wife.
Yeah. Take it and say, hey,
Hey, babe, you're on the Entrepreneur Experience. Say hi to Jared and to Cory Finley.
Your phone calls sound like mine with like 4 kids in the background.
Yeah, we got 5. Is everything okay, love? Oh, you need me to threaten him? Joseph, here, I'm going to put the sunglasses on. I'm going to be boss dad right now.
Yeah, the boss.
Yeah.
Joseph, what's going on? If you don't listen to your mom, I'm going to be home very, very soon, and you don't want to see me like that.
What do you say, Joey? Say hi, Daddy.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I love you, babe. I'll be see you soon. Bye.
Oh, and that was our first caller that we took.
First caller of the day.
So,
We got a bad connection there at the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
That's
Well, look,
awesome.
That's so real,
That's
though.
awesome.
That's exactly what mine sound like, too.
Yeah.
And it really,
in the
but I
background.
don't hear like distractions
like
like
it
what a lot of
frustrates
people.
me, but also puts a smile on my face at the same time.
It does.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
every time my wife calls, my son wants to crawl on her freaking lap and like
Yeah.
be dominant.
Daddy. Hold on a second.
It's like, hold on, it's like, okay, dude, when I get home, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I don't hear like distractions and stuff when I hear that stuff, even
Really?
though people think that maybe,
Yeah.
or maybe you think people think that of you.
yeah,
But I hear energy.
I hear distractions.
I hear energy, and I'm like, oh, I want to be around there or something.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, that's cool. I
Do you
like
hear
that.
energy?
It depends on the time of day and how tired I am.
Okay, look, that's real. That's real, dude. That's real. Because we're out there hustling, we're talking to people, we're using our brains.
It's hard to shift
It's
that
already hard
mind.
to do that.
Yeah.
You know.
And some clients are better than others, and it just
Yeah.
like I'm a mess a lot of the time, and so I try to. This is something that I was taught by my coach. I try to respond instead of react.
Oh, okay.
And so, with my kids, if I can respond, that's a brain thing, right? I'm responding, I'm taking time, I'm thinking about what they've done. We don't need necessarily do a punishment right now, a discipline right now. I'm responding maybe later. Reacting is where I'm like, you listen to your, mother, blah, and like that's like emotional, hot mess kind of stuff. And so like I try in my business, in life, kids, family, wife, everything, I try to respond, not react.
That's
a
very good.
Good one. That's a good one. I am definitely one who could tend to react.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
that for sure.
I think a lot of us do, because there's a great book that I love. It's by Karen Tuttle. Sorry, I apologize. It's called The Child Whisperer. That was the best book for our marriage and for our like child rearing type stuff. Secular book, a lot of good stuff. It's kind of like the disc test in a way.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
instead of a
What are you?
DICS, I'm a high I, high D.
Hey, that's me.
And so, but she just type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4. Most of the types are reactionary, not thinkers, you know, and so it's very common for people to react instead of respond. So the thinkers are very rare, and that's why when the quiet one in the room finally talks, everybody else shuts up and listens.
Yeah.
And so, because they're
Kinda
pretty,
like the
they're pretty rare.
owl,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Most of us react.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. High I, high D. I already knew that. Like just talking to you. Like
Yeah.
it's like either there's a high I there somewhere. You know.
Yeah. Yep.
You get that from one of your parents?
I would say my mom was probably a high I, and my dad's probably a high D, but he's like a very CS, like very loyal, very thoughtful, kind of philosopher-ish. My mom had a lot of feelings, but also wanted to have fun and do high energy things. So a mix of both. Yeah, I'd say a good mix of both.
That's crazy.
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna wrap this up, dude. I think there's a part 2 coming soon. I don't know when, but I think that I still want to continue this conversation.
I appreciate you
You
guys
know what,
let me
that's
have
a-
come on. Yeah.
It's an honor, and that's a good
Yeah.
sign too. If you guys are also wanting a part 2, let us know. And
Yeah.
for us to be in the room and want a part 2, it's better than
Yeah.
you know.
And if you don't, let us know
The
so we can
opposite.
tell
Yeah.
him.
Put it in the
So we
chat.
can
I
let him
want to
know,
hear
hey,
it.
dude,
Yeah,
nobody
yeah.
wants you.
Yeah, don't stop. Yeah, that was awful.
It's better
Yeah.
to leave people wanting more than
Yeah.
to live long enough and see yourself become the villain.
Can we
Name that quote.
Can we wait? Say it again. I was half listening.
Well, it's
Oh, wow,
really
yeah,
it's
yeah.
better to die a hero than to live long enough and see yourself become the villain.
Oh, I know that quote. What's that from?
Tune in next week.
Spider-Man? That sounds like a Spider-Man thing.
You're close.
Is it a Marvel?
Wrong
Is it
universe.
Marvel? Is it DC then?
Is
Yeah.
it
One
Tony
of the best,
Stark?
One of the best directors.
Well, no, that'd be Marvel. So it must be Batman then.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh.
Um,
Is it Batman?
It's the Dark Knight.
Dark Knight.
It's Two-Face.
Yeah.
Oh,
There you
okay,
go.
yeah,
There you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why he goes
Because he
away.
became the villain.
Well, that's why Batman goes away at the end.
Yeah.
Wow.
He
Yeah.
quote unquote dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, should we talk about maybe some future podcast plans? Is that like a little hint to drop?
Okay, let's talk about
If
it.
you got
What
a
are
couple
saying?
minutes, let's do it.
Okay. I mean, I do. So I have a podcast as well with a buddy of mine.
Yeah.
And we have chatted about swapping. So like we will take over these guys podcast, and then these guys take over our podcast. So, I mean, you learned about this today. You and I have been talking about this
Yeah.
for like, a couple weeks.
Oh, so I'm just in.
Yeah.
Well, because he's
Yeah.
from proximity. You know?
I know.
Yeah. And you got your own private office way over there.
Yeah, you hide. I'm like looking.
All right, guys. Now we're gonna wrap up the entrepreneurial experience.
So be ready for some crazy fun.
I think that's gonna be fun.
Yeah. We'll do
I'm
something.
just gonna walk in the room and point a gun at him and be like, "Dude, out."
Yeah.
I'll be a yellow gun.
Please unchamber.
with the orange tip.
Well, rule number 1 is treat every weapon as if it is loaded and ready to kill.
That's
So,
right. Yeah. Laser
True.
beams.
Even, I'll make it obvious. Slide back, mag out.
Big yellow
I'll
thing.
put my finger
it.
in there like it's empty. Okay, now you're out. Yeah, so
Somehow there's one in there.
Right? Guys, thanks so much for having me on. This has
Dude,
been really cool.
for
I
sure.
appreciate it.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
likewise. It's good to have you here, and thanks
Yep.
for stepping in. And
Yeah. Make sure you guys subscribe if you're on YouTube. Smash that like button, that bell, so you can know whenever there's a new episode coming out on YouTube. If you're watching this on the shorts, make sure you go and watch the full video. And yeah,
And if you made it this far in this podcast, please, you are one of the ones that we want to make a comment and make a share. Whatever's easiest for you. Like, it's better to do something than to do nothing.
Yeah.
But on YouTube, it's very important. Let's keep that going. Let's get that algorithm pushing us. Because if you found any value here, that's the only thing that we're wanting in return is just make a like, make a subscribe, invite, make a comment. Help that algorithm.
I want to know waffles or pancakes.
waffles.
Waffles.
Well, wait, hold on.
We just almost signed off, and now he's like
Hold
opening
on.
new
I know.
questions.
He did it on purpose.
That's where we cut it right there. Is hold on.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, cool.
We got to say our closing line, which is
Keep on keeping on.
And
No, I'm just
stay
joking. That's
strong.
his.
Do
All
I
right,
need to
guys.
come?
Yeah, what's your
catch
line?
you on the flip side.
All right.
Catch you on the flip side.
Yeah.
And just
That
like
sounds,
that.
dude. That sounds like a John Wick scene. I'll be seeing you.
That's probably what. Yeah, I'll be
seeing
seeing you. Yeah.
Nice.
Right.
There you go.
That's John Wick, right?
Was it a good night?
Coach
was-
Joe had just had his team trademark that to actually sell that to you. So
Nice.
I'll be seeing you
I'll
$2
give
million. And
I'll give you. I'll give you my
say-
dollar
in my
later.
private office
Yeah.
for $1,500 a month.
With all the sticky notes on the wall.
All right,
Good to
guys.
see you guys. Take it easy.